Are we swapping underwear? Rain clarifies as she leans down and starts untying her boots. 'Cause I'd really rather not. Why? Heath asks as he starts removing his own shoes. Mine are clean on this morning. Rain ducks behind the changing room curtain for a second before poking her head back out. No, she says with a shake of her head. Heath is left a little annoyed. He's not one for half-assing anything at any point in his life. Why? He asks again. I understand, Tia says, touching Heath's arm to lead him away. Do you want to come with me, Heath? There's another changing room for you over here. I'll ferry the clothes between the two of you. Tia presses on Heath's back and leads him to the other side of the room. Reluctant, Heath doesn't struggle, but he's annoyed. He looks down at Tia and at the heavy makeup around her eyes and smirks. You might see her naked, Heath whispers. When you go collect her clothes, don't look at her eyes, you might turn to stone. Tia gives Heath a dirty look. That's not nice. You've been warned, Heath laughs in a spooky manner. You've been warned. Heath continues to laugh like an idiot as Tia pushes him into the changing rooms. Sliding the curtain across, Tia takes in a long breath and prepares herself. Listening to the sound of Heath and Rain getting undressed, Tia can't help but smile. Usually she sits all alone, hoping that someone would have the courage to join her. This is fun, she says happily under her breath. What? Heath shouts out. Did you guys say something? Tia jumps and goes bright red. No. An awkward silence is then interrupted by Rain. I'm ready, Tia. Jumping to attention, Tia scuttles over to the curtain Rain is behind. Not wanting to peep, Tia just puts her hand behind the curtain and waits. Seconds later, Rain dumps all of her clothes into Tia's hands. Holding Rain's t-shirt, skirt, leggings, and boots in both of her arms, she brings them over to Heath. Placing the boots onto the floor, Tia slides the clothes through a crack in the curtain. Here, Heath, Tia says. They're still warm. Unable to see Heath, Tia waits for him to take them from her hands. Then, in a flurry of laughter, Heath snatches the garments from her. Thank you. Heath almost sings before placing his heavier clothing in Tia's hands. Here are my offerings to Medusa. Taking Heath's clothing, Tia swiftly moves back to Rain and passes them through the curtain. Here, Rain, Tia says softly. Rain takes the clothes in Tia's hands much more politely. Ah, Rain complains. Why do they make boys' clothes so rough? No idea, Tia replies with a shake of her head. I hated that when I was a boy. I can see why, Rain remarks, looking at the clothes she's been given. Another moment of silence follows. All Tia can hear is the sounds of Heath and Rain getting dressed. That silence is then shattered as Heath calls out again, like a child calling for their mother. Tia, dear, Heath shouts out. I require some assistance. Are you decent? Tia asks anxiously, wandering over to his closed curtain. Heath doesn't answer. He slides back the curtain to show himself half-dressed. At first, Tia freaks out and lets out a rather feminine gasp. Her reaction is a little over the top considering Heath only has his torso exposed. Thanks for that, Heath sighs and then holds out Rain's bra. I need some help with this contraption. I can't do up the clasps. Tia smiles brightly and then obliges him in his request. Gliding the bra straps down his arms, Tia pulls it tight around his back and quickly has it done up. Thanks, Heath says, correcting where the cups sit on his chest. Not the most pleasant thing to wear, huh? You get used to it, Tia smiles. Plus, I don't think this one is quite your size. I can measure you tomorrow and we could pick you up more suitable underwear if you'd like. Wait, Heath says awkwardly, stepping away as Tia starts to adjust the fit on the bra on his shoulders. You'd do that for me? Tia reacts to Heath moving back from her with an awkward smile. Yeah, Tia replies with a nod. Only if you want me to. I know Mrs. Constant has made you join this club as a punishment, so if you'd rather I didn't, I'd understand. Tia looks away and down at the floor. Even if you don't want to do cross-dressing or any gender stuff, it's nice to just have some company. I like you and Rain. You're like an old married couple. It's fun. Giving Tia an odd look, Heath continues to get dressed and pulls up Rain's leggings. He's left annoyed as the tight leggings make his boxers bunch up underneath. This is a little uncomfortable, Heath says, showing the top of his boxers that are peeking out over the tight black leggings. I feel like I'm wearing a parachute underneath. Tia holds out her hands and then holds them over the seam of Heath's leggings. Can I touch you again? Tia asks, looking up at Heath for approval. Heath nods. Tia then grabs the seam and brings it higher up Heath's body, pulling the leggings tighter. You see? Tia explains. Rain's skirt is high-waisted. You should wear the leggings higher up your body, like this. Lifting the leggings higher up on his body, Tia looks back with a smile on her face. See? Now you can put the skirt on and you know what height it needs to be. Just watching Tia, Heath doesn't know what to say. He lets her pick up Rain's skirt and hand it to him. Reluctantly taking it from her, he looks down at the denim skirt and frowns. I need to wear this up here? Heath asks, touching his side. That's a lot higher than where I'd usually wear my jeans, are you sure? Certain. Didn't you see how Rain was wearing it? I don't look at Rain in that much detail, Heath replies sarcastically. I don't want her to get the wrong idea. Oh, well, I noticed it. I always notice what the cute girls around me are wearing. Cute? He asks cynically. Are you sure we're looking at the same girl? Like it or not, Tia scolds. Rain's a cute girl. She's the sort of girl I'm seriously jealous of. Don't get me wrong, I'm not attracted to her. I just get a little jealous I don't have a body like hers. Heath pulls a face as he threads both his legs into Rain's skirt, and he pulls the skirt up his legs. He gives Tia a confused look. Are you jealous? He asks, bringing the skirt right up to where Tia suggested. But you look so much more feminine than she does. I heard that, Heath, Rain cries out from across the room. You jerk. Tia blushes and becomes quite timid. Heath laughs as he fastens the button on his skirt. Do you need any more help? Tia asks, biting her bottom lip as she steps away. I'm good, Heath replies, reaching for Rain's t-shirt. Heath then throws the t-shirt over his head. Unable to pull it any further than just above his belly button, he groans at how tight it is around his shoulders. Taking a moment to look at himself wearing Rain's clothes, he's quite impressed they fit him so well. Then, reaching for Rain's boots, he studies them for a moment and rues the fact they look complicated to put on. Eventually getting them laced up, he stands, and he's pleased they make him a little taller. The slight heel is a welcome boost to his height. Heath? Rain says on the other side of the curtain. Are you done? I want to see what you look like. Confident, Heath steps out from behind the curtain to see Tia and Rain gawking at him. He almost feels like he's on a catwalk and that he should strut his funky stuff. Rain nods in approval as Heath poses. About what I expected, Rain comments, showing herself off in Heath's oversized clothes that hang from her petite frame. What about me? Do I look okay? Heath rolls his lips before giving Rain a cheeky smile. You look like my younger brother. Rain looks down at herself, trying to pull Heath's baggy jeans higher up her body. She grumbles. These are so scratchy against my skin. Doesn't bother me, Heath replies, pulling down his skirt. Least you're covered. Even with these leggings on, I feel like my tackle could fall out at any time. When you shave your legs, Heath, Tia interrupts, standing between them, then you'll understand how nasty male clothes feel to wear. I promise you'll be desperate to wear softer stuff. Heath feels the material of Rain's t-shirt and gives it a moment of thought. I guess this is pretty soft, he remarks, then sniffs. Smells nice too, kinda like flowers. I don't mind it. Frustrated, Rain lifts up her armpit and whiffs. Ugh, Heath, she sighs, quickly lowering her arm. You need to wear more deodorant. Annoyed at the insinuation that he stinks, Heath puts his hands on his hips and glares in Rain's direction. I'll have you know, he says with a point to prove, I put deodorant on this week. It's just I may have sweat a little when we were waiting for Mrs. Constant. The woman scares me a little, okay? Oh, no, Tia disagrees. Mrs. Constant is lovely. She's been so supportive of me. The woman is a saint. She always comes in here to chat. Heath and Rain both instinctively glare in Tia's direction, and it makes her very uncomfortable. Teacher's pet, Rain mocks. I'm not, Tia denies passionately. Don't listen to her, Heath laughs, teasingly nudging Rain. Rain here might want you to think she's a free spirit, but she's just as much of a teacher's pet. Am not, Rain groans, nudging Heath back. You were until we started hanging out. Rain flips Heath off. Whatever, femboy. Heath chuckles and attempts a curtsy. Oh, did that upset you, Rain? He torments. Rain lets out a long sigh and rolls her eyes. Folding her arms, she looks at Tia. Can you just do his makeup or something? I'm bored of him. Tia looks at Heath and considers for a moment. Tia says, looking at Rain and her now slightly messy hair. Do you mind if I start with you first? I think if we remove your makeup and do a little shadow under your chin and add a hat, I could get you looking like quite the convincing boy. Shadow under her chin? Heath laughs, wanting to tease even more. That's because you don't need any on your lips, Rain. You already got quite the mustache growing. Reacting badly, Rain raises her hand and points her finger inches from Heath's nose. Keep laughing it up, Heath, she growls. Tomorrow we're going to the salon and you're getting a full body wax. Tia giggles softly, covering her mouth with one hand. You too. How aren't you a couple? Heath and Rain both stare angrily in Tia's direction. Feeling the tension, Tia backs away and holds up her hands in surrender. Sensitive subject. Tia chuckles and turns away, bemused by their reaction. Noted. Wanting to change the subject quickly, Tia reaches for a baseball cap that's sitting on the side. She picks it up and turns back to face the pair with a grin. Anyways, Tia says, bringing the cap to Rain, let's, make a man out of you? Rain grabs a nearby stool and sits. Slumping her shoulders, she waits for Tia. Slowly, Tia approaches and places the cap on Rain's head. Heath, Tia says politely as she gathers up Rain's longish hair, can you grab some of those wipes over there? Heath does as he's told and swiftly brings back the pack of wipes. Rain watches him walk around with real interest. Look at you in my skirt, she giggles. You look adorable. Thank you, Heath replies, pretending to flick back long hair. Turning around on the spot, Heath shows Rain his backside, and he looks over his shoulder. Does it make my bum look big? Tia looks over Rain's head as she does her hair. A little, yeah, Tia answers before Rain gets a chance. Looks nice. Fits you well. Tia, Rain complains, folding her arms. Don't be nice to him. Sorry, Tia sighs, putting Rain's hair into a ponytail on top of her head. I was just being honest. I wish I had a big bum and legs like his. Heath looks down at himself, confused. He pulls out the miniskirt, trying to look at his legs encased in Rain's leggings. Seriously? He asks, picking at the leggings. Tia doesn't reply. She just plonks the cap onto Rain's head, hiding the majority of her long hair underneath. Ouch, Rain whines, picking at the rim of the cap that's tight on her head. Sorry, Tia giggles nervously, stepping around Rain to look at her. Can I remove your earrings? I'll do it, Rain answers, reaching up to take them out. Seconds later, Tia takes the wipes from Heath and starts removing Rain's makeup. It doesn't take long. Once completed, Tia steps back and stands beside Heath, and they both stare into Rain's direction. Heath gives Tia a sideways glance as Rain starts going a little red. Now she looks even more like my little brother, Heath says, breaking the awkward silence. Glue her to Fortnite and she'd be exactly like him. Is my skin that bad? Rain asks, touching her cheeks. Not at all, Tia replies. Can I draw a 5 o'clock shadow now? No, Rain pouts and points at Heath. We need to style his hair and do his makeup. I won't have him staring at me all smug like that, especially when he's standing there wearing my clothes. Placing a finger on her chin, Tia slowly turns to look at Heath. She bends to look at him from another angle and starts humming in thought. What? Heath asks, reacting to Tia staring at him so much. I think we could do pigtails, Tia says, looking at Rain for support. What do you think? His hair is just about long enough. Rain's face lights up as she jumps up from the stool she was sitting on. Grabbing at Heath's shoulders, she forces him down onto the same stool. Heath doesn't fight her. He just laughs at himself as he has to adjust how he's sitting in her skirt. Legs together, Tia smiles, watching him fidget. Unless you want the boys looking up there. Standing beside Tia, Rain leans across her and whispers in her ear. Have you got any more hair ties? Tia remains in eye contact with Heath, but also leans over to whisper back. I have. I've also got some lashes in my bag. Do you think he'd be okay with that? He doesn't get a choice, Rain says with a smirk. Are you sure? I don't want him to do anything he doesn't want to. I'd rather he enjoyed this. Trust me, Rain says, turning to Tia with the broadest grin. He'll enjoy it. He wants the attention, I promise. Hey now, Heath huffs, overhearing what they're saying. I might be a bit of attention seeker, Rain, but you're just the same. Rain looks back at Heath, but continues to whisper at Tia. He's right. I do like the attention. Anyway, shall we get started? Can I do his hair? Sure, Tia agrees, pointing at her bag on the counter. I've got hair stuff in my bag. Grabbing a few things that she needs, Rain steps confidently behind Heath, who waits patiently on the stool. I don't want to hear any complaints, Heath, okay? Rain says sternly. If you're going to have long hair like this, expect girls like me to want to style it. Are you feeling okay? Heath asks, resisting the want to turn and look at her. Since when have you wanted to style my hair? Shut up, idiot, Rain snarks, running her fingers through his long locks. Just sit still while we make you a little less gutter and a little more glam. Rain starts pulling at Heath's hair. With the brush in her hand, she brushes through the tight knots in his hair. Heath wants to whine out as the brush keeps getting stuck, but he also doesn't want to give Rain that satisfaction. Heath, Tia says softly, approaching him with another stool in one hand and a black box in the other. Have you ever had your makeup done before? No, Heath answers as Tia sits on the stool directly in front of him. Might feel a bit strange at first, Tia says, opening her makeup box in front of him. But it really makes a difference. Really makes you look and feel feminine. Cool, Heath replies flippantly. Tia and Rain work quickly, almost like they've been doing makeovers for years. Rain squeaks with joy as she finishes putting Heath's hair into pigtails on either side of his head. She even takes a second to comb a few small strands of hair to fall in front of his eyes, like the sort of look a Spice Girl would have back in the 1990s. Tia also happily works her magic. She covers his face with foundation and concealer. She even carefully shades his eyebrows into something more akin to that of her own. What is that? Heath asks as Tia approaches his eyes with a little tube. Lash glue? Tia replies, expecting it not to be a problem. Glue, he says, bemused by the idea. On my eyes? Uh-huh. Tia smiles, holding it close to him. Just don't move, okay? I'm gonna set your lashes. Once that's done, I'll do a little mascara and then we're finished. A little tense, Heath braces himself as Tia drips the glue on his eyelids. The first drip makes him flinch, and Rain can't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? Heath asks, holding himself as still as possible. You, Rain replies, chuckling to herself. Stop it, you two. Tia interrupts rudely as she tries to concentrate. I don't need you both having a lover's tiff right now. We aren't lovers. Rain and Heath answer back at the same time, seemingly both just as annoyed at the insinuation. Tia ignores them and carefully places the lashes on Heath's eyelids. After a bit of gentle blowing and some mascara, Tia steps back from Heath with pride, like she's just finished the Sistine Chapel. OMG, Rain gasps, looking at Heath in disbelief. Tia, what an amazing job! You're good. Thanks, Tia replies, tilting her head as she also stares in Heath's direction. I like makeup, it's fun. Can I see? Heath asks, wanting them to show him a mirror. Rain steps forward and snaps a picture of him with her phone. Turning it to show him, even Heath is blown away by the transformation. Oh, days, Heath says in shock. Getting up from the stool, Heath pulls down his skirt, brushes down his leggings, and flicks back one of his ponytails. Confident, he attempts a girly pose and does a peace sign with his right hand. Do you think my parents will notice the change? Heath asks, attempting a higher-pitched voice. If they don't, Rain laughs, snapping another photo, then your parents are defo worse than mine. You look like a completely different person. Seriously? Heath asks, again looking down at himself. I don't really feel different. I just feel like I've got face paint on. You look very passable, Tia says, feeling a little jealous. Heath swings his hair from side to side, enjoying the feeling of his ponytails. I guess this is kind of fun. Do I look cuter than Rain? Not giving Tia a second to even consider an answer, Rain stands beside Heath and puts her arm around his shoulder. Holding him roughly, she leans in and starts whispering in his ear, making Heath very uncomfortable. I'd tap that, Rain says, reaching down to touch his backside. Rain! Heath jumps away. What the hell? Just acting my stereotype, Rain giggles, touching the rim of her cap. I see a beautiful woman. I've got to tell her. Don't ever say that to me again, Heath insists, pulling down his t-shirt and trying to hide his exposed body. Especially not when you look like that and I look like this. Tia raises an eyebrow, not the reaction she was expecting from the confident and brash boy he was only an hour ago. Sorry, baby girl, Rain continues to tease, leaning in towards Heath. Do you want to cuddle? Heath gives Rain a sour look and punches her lightly in the arm. Just as he lines up his swing, the classroom door opens and Mrs. Constant darkens its doorway. She glances around the classroom at the three students and quickly understands what's been happening. Focusing her attention on Rain, she nods in approval. Very handsome, Rain, she compliments. Maybe you should consider going for one of the male leads in the school play this year. Mrs. Constant then turns her attention to Heath, who at this point has gone red as a tomato. She studies the makeup on his face and even the way he's standing in Rain's clothes. Ah, Mrs. Constant smiles. Good idea with the outfit swap, Tia. Heath looks wonderful. It's, interesting to know he can look so elegant in such casual clothing. Mrs. Constant points at the same dress that Heath was interested in when he first came into the room. Maybe Heath will model that dress you're working on, eh, Tia? I know you've been looking for a model who will fit the design. Tia looks at Heath with wide eyes, desperate for him to agree. Heath looks away and tries to hide his body. Maybe, he grunts reluctantly. Tia, Mrs. Constance says, calling her over. Tia hastily walks to stand at Mrs. Constance's side. She looks up, wondering if she's done something wrong. Mrs. Constance leans down to whisper in her ear. These two have been well behaved? Yes? Tia nods and smiles. Are you enjoying yourself? Miss Constance continues, still whispering. Yes, Tia replies, also whispering. See? Mrs. Constance says with a widening smile as she gently touches Tia on the shoulder. I told you that you'd make friends, eventually. Tia turns to look at Heath and Rain, and they are bickering about something. The two of them are flapping at each other with their hands. Tia can't help but smile as she watches them. Dressing them up as another gender is the most fun she's had in months. I hope so, Tia says emotionally. I really hope so. Taking her hands off Tia's shoulder, Mrs. Constance turns to leave the room, holding the door as she does. Stopping just before it closes, Mrs. Constance looks back through the crack in the door. Thanks, miss, Tia says, fanning her eyes. Ask them back again, Mrs. Constance says through the crack in the door. Tell them you can't wait to hang out tomorrow. Tia nods in agreement and turns with confidence. Heath, she says commandingly. Rain. They both stop and stare, making Tia a little nervous. However, she soon smiles as Heath plays absently with his ponytail. You two are coming back here tomorrow, right? Tia asks. I'm game, Heath says, shrugging his shoulders. This has been fun, and I really do want to try that dress on. Yeah, I like this, Rain admits with a smile. It's fun, plus I don't want to miss Heath looking so adorable. Aw, look at him. Heath laughs out loud and struts around confidently, flicking his hair like he's seen women do in the shampoo commercials. Admit it, Rain, he bellows theatrically. I do make a cuter girl than you. Rain pulls a humble face and watches Heath bounce around in her clothes. I concede, she replies. What? Heath asks, utterly stunned by how easy he's won. Best we get that wax tomorrow, huh? Rain smirks. You know, to celebrate your victory of being the cutest. Rain then pretends to stroke her chin like she has a beard. Maybe we can fashion your leg hair into a fake beard for me. Ugh, Rain, Heath scolds, shaking his head. That's gross. Hey, Rain laughs and shrugs. I'm a boy right now, and we boys say gross things. Sure, whatever, Heath replies with a sassy click of his fingers. Just remember, Rain, right now it's 2 girls and 1 boy. I wouldn't push your luck. Maybe we will gang up on you.